with the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, Lagos transport system and provision of infrastructure to the state to give it a true world-class transport system will continue to be on the front burner. This week on the program, we shall be discussing LAMATA, the environment, and project stakeholders. Good evening, I am Kate Harmony.
Thanks for joining us and welcome to this episode of the program. I am Obafemi Craig. We'll be back after the break. The final movement of the plantain sellers from mile 12 to Maida off Agility Road begins this week with the expected handover of market space to the Ikosi Isheri Local Council Development Authority. The handover is in fulfillment of LAMATA's promise to ensure the relocation of plantain sellers at new location under the Resettlement Action Plan of the BRT Extension Project. The space currently being used by the plantain traders is to be used for the construction of one of the BRT terminals under the ongoing Mile 12 to Ikorodu Town BRT Extension Project. The other terminal is at Agric Bus Stop. Professor Kayode Taiwo, Deputy Director Safeguards LAMATA, while speaking at a meeting held to discuss modalities for the smooth relocation of the plantain traders, said efforts have been made to ensure the completion of a new site with the provision of necessary facilities such as toilets, drainage system, and access road, among others. He noted that LAMATA has been able to bring together and work with all concerned stakeholders to ensure a smooth relocation of all the traders. The market is projected to increase economic activities in the neighborhood and provide employment for many people.
Lagos, my home. With LAMATA, Lagos is changing for the best.
This is a news update on LAMATA FR. The Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority LAMATA is developing capacity building for the organization to make it a knowledge hub for the entire transport sector in Nigeria and the rest of the world. The training session, described as Operation Champion of Knowledge Management, was held in Lagos last week with officials of the World Bank providing technical support for the training of LAMATA staff. Mr. Steven Janus, a senior operations officer and cluster leader, knowledge hubs from the World Bank, led other trainers including Iana Vovide, an assistant professor in communication, culture and technology program at Georgetown University, and Jeffrey Kwiatkowski from Root Change, Berlin, Germany. The training program broke down the process of creating sound knowledge, sharing policies into few simple steps, as well as gave an overview of a systematic approach to developing institutional capacity for capturing, packaging, and sharing knowledge. Participants were involved in several exercises for upcoming knowledge exchange and determining how to document implementation and capture results for knowledge exchange, as well as develop the knowledge products needed. The Director of Business System LAMATA, Mrs. Olurinu Jose, thanked the facilitators for the systematic way the training was conducted and promised that what was learned will be put to practice and share with those who will require it. And that's the news. Up next is a discussion segment after the break.
Basically, what LAMATA does is to coordinate public transportation in Lagos State, and we came up with a transport master plan.
Developed together with the World Bank, the objective of this plan is finding long-lasting solutions for the problem of transportation in Lagos. Currently under its first steps of development, the plan has already proven itself a big success, dramatically increasing the connectivity in a city in continuous expansion and enjoying an unparalleled demographic and economic growth.
Our responsibility is to ensure that we provide the necessary infrastructure to meet the growth, to improve the quality of life, to improve the standard of living, and to make Lagos a vibrant and livable city in years to come.
LAMATA, think transport.
Lagos is considered the world's sixth largest city, one of the most rapidly urbanizing metropolitan areas of the world, with an estimated population set between 18 and 20 million. Geographically, Lagos is fast spreading, and the impact of the metropolis is being felt beyond its borders to other neighboring states.
And this rapid urbanization within Lagos requires a lot of reconstruction, relocations, and in some cases, demolitions. No doubt, people's lives and businesses have been affected, and LAMATA has waded in, interfacing with the people, their businesses, safety, and general well-being.
On this segment of the program, we'll be taking a look at LAMATA, the environment, and project stakeholders. To take this discussion further, we have the Deputy Director, Safeguard LAMATA, Professor Kayode Taiwo. Professor Taiwo is a professor of sociology who lectured in the University of Lagos for several years. He joined LAMATA at inception as Senior Specialist, Safeguard, directing safeguard issues as they affect conception to implementation of projects. Professor Taiwo has also shared his experiences on safeguard issues in several emerging cities at the behest of the World Bank, which has come to recognize his expertise and passion in implementing safeguard issues, especially resettlement action plans. Welcome, Professor Taiwo.
Thank you.
Now, what are the considerations before LAMATA set out to embark on a project, and what is your unit's role in this regard?
What we'll actually do is to do a reconnaissance visit to the corridor, any project we want to undertake. And we'll, along the line, while we're going through the corridor, we try to identify environmental and social issues that could be negatively impact on the community or the people during the intervention of our projects. And my unit will scrutinize what we've found. If it is positive that it will negatively impact on the environment and people, we will undertake an environmental impact assessment or a resettlement action plan, or both of them. An EIA is, what an EIA does is to see to what extent the people will be negatively impacted. And in the course of that study, provide solutions about what actions to take during construction so that the people will not be negatively impacted. So also a resettlement action plan will take a look at how many people will be displaced, to what extent will the livelihood be affected in the course of the project. Then that resettlement action plan is drawn, and we will follow it strictly to see, identify project affected persons, get their addresses, phones, everything, so that when the time for compensation or rehabilitation comes, they will be taken into cognizance. And again, that is what we are doing on this corridor of impact now.
If you ask me, you talk about environmental and social issues.
Yeah.
In what perspective are we really looking at in terms of environment?
Environmental issues could be physical, in terms of maybe your project will cause flooding, maybe it will, the outfall for the drainage would affect the community, or fauna or flora will be affected, because all these things need to be taken into consideration. We don't have to assume that if we cut the trees, if we cut the, definitely because of development, we are in good shape. That is not true, because all those things stabilizes the environment, the ecology. Yeah. So we need to take cognizance of the environment issues during our intervention. Basically, LAMATA provides transport infrastructure, and these are the things that could be affected in the project.
So how do you identify and manage your stakeholders?
Well, again, in the course of that that reconnaissance visit, we will see how many affected persons or institutions, because from the engineering design, we'll have gotten to what extent we will have land take,
Okay.
whether additional land take or which could result in some people losing their fences, fence walls, or businesses, and so on. So we identify who are concerned. And in most cases, they include transporters, who park, mechanics, vulcanizers, shops, artisan traders, and so on. So that's the way we identify them. And as soon as we identify them, we engage them.
So what advantages does stakeholder engagement confer in project management?
Well, several advantages. Good understanding of an appreciation of the public on what you want to do. And this leads to less conflict. When they understand what you want to do, the quantum of time you are going to use on that corridor, then again, you get some feedbacks from them that could make you review your original design.
Does it mean you talk to them from time to time, or you talk to them before you start up the project?
Before we start the project, we'll inform them. We'll organize all of them. We'll invite them.
Right.
I mean, we'll get a space. I mean, a good that can take a large number of people, and we'll tell them our intention. Then there will be several feedbacks from them. They will tell us how they feel about the project. We'll show them the design. In most cases, they are usually pasted, and some of them are given the design. And some of them are well versed in engineering, and they will tell us, I mean, they'll give us their comment. And under this project, we got a good advantage in design that we were going to put a pedestrian walkway somewhere, and they told us that it won't be necessary, that we should put it somewhere where there are larger traffic than we envisaged. And
because they understand that.
They understand the environment.
That terrain very well.
Yeah. We were not going to put a pedestrian walkway in front of a school. They advised that we should. Those are the things. So we have to go back to the drawing board.
During project implementation, what are the things that you need to put in place to ensure that the environment and the interest of stakeholders are safeguarded?
One of the things we do is to create an avenue for feedback mechanisms. And what do I mean by that? By engaging the public in through many activities, media, publicity, then stakeholders, community forum, and so on. Then again, we charge our consultants and contractors to ensure that health, safety, and environmental issues are strictly adhered to, because these are things that could cause rift, conflict between our contractors and the public, the general public whom they are trying to serve. Again, we ensure that they put in place sound traffic management, because we're working on majorly urban area, and without even our construction work, there is traffic congestion. So we need to manage traffic effectively. In this case, we've organized LASMA and other agencies to ensure that this is done. Again, construction work raise dust, and people who are asthmatic or have health issues in that direction will be badly affected. So we ensure that the contractor suppress the dust to the minimum. And again, traffic signs where they are necessary so that people don't run into
hitches
and all that. So those are part of the things we put in place.
Yeah, and one of the issues you have to manage during project implementation is relocation of utilities and services on the right-of-way. How do you manage this?
Well, that's one major issue that we had put into consideration even before the project started. What we do is that we identified all the utilities along the corridor.
Okay.
Water pipes, telephone, electricity cables, and all that. And we engaged those utility owners on one-to-one to come and identify where they are. Then we now, left to them, they were not actually going to remove it. They think it's our liability. So we had to engage a consultant to ensure that, to work with PHCN, for instance, to relocate all the utilities, engage another to work with water, to relocate the facilities. And again, we created ducts under our bridges and roads to ensure that, if for future development, you can just pass your cables. Along the duct. So, and this has yielded because as far as we're concerned on the corridor of the proposed BRT, we've gone more than 90% of relocation of utilities.
Thank you, Professor Taiwo. We have come to the end of this segment.
It's my pleasure to be your guest. Thank you.
And we'll be right back to take more questions, this time from our studio audience. Don't go anywhere.
Basically, what LAMATA does is to coordinate public transportation in Lagos State, and we came up with a transport master plan.
Developed together with the World Bank, the objective of this plan is finding long-lasting solutions for the problem of transportation in Lagos. Currently under its first steps of development, the plan has already proven itself a big success, dramatically increasing the connectivity in a city in continuous expansion and enjoying an unparalleled demographic and economic growth.
Our responsibility is to ensure that we provide the necessary infrastructure to meet the growth, to improve the quality of life, to improve the standard of living, and to make Lagos a vibrant and livable city in years to come.
LAMATA, think transport.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest has spoken extensively on LAMATA, the environment, and project stakeholders. It's time to take your questions, comments, and suggestions. Anyone with any question, please? All right.
I want to know from Mile 12 to Ikorodu, the BRT extension. I want to know, for those that are displaced on the road, how do they get the compensations? That's what I want to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Compensation comes in different forms. When we relocate a market, that is a compensation. And there are two major markets that we're relocating. One, the plantain traders at Mile 12. We've gotten a new grant for them behind Mile 12 market. By next week, they should move there. That's one set of compensation. Then Ikorodu market is going to be relocated. Construction of the new market will soon. That's another form of construction. But where a situation where your house is affected, or your property is affected, in fact, the Land Bureau will have communicated with the owners of the property, and you will deal directly with Land Bureau, whoever is concerned. You submit all the papers you have for that property, and you'll be adequately compensated. LAMATA does not directly compensate. It's not part of our remit. Thank you.
Those who are working, constructing the road, if anything happened to them, is there any proper medical care for them?
Good question. That's a major concern of my unit. The contractors are made to set up clinics in all the three sections, and we make the clinic affiliated to 2 hospitals. And so if it's a major thing, the person will be referred to that hospital for treatment. And if it's even more major, there are statutory rules in the country that talks about workmen compensation. Then, maybe you lose an arm on anything. The law takes care of that, and we ensure that the contractor does what is right in that regard. There's no problem with that. Yeah.
I want to ask concerning the health of the residents that are around the BRT construction areas. For example, the tractors may be making noise, dust around the area. Is there any compensation package for them? Thank you.
Well, there's no compensation per se, but if you recall that in the course of my discussion, I mentioned that construction activities usually raise dust, and we ensure that our contractors suppress, ensure that they suppress the dust that is created on the road. Then, you see, some of the issues we discuss at stakeholders meeting is the issue of inconvenience to the community when construction activity is going on. That they will tell them to bear with us that, well, it's like a pregnant woman. After the baby is born, it's all smiles, forgotten all the pains. The road project is going to bring a lot of development. So the inconvenience is time-bound. So again, in LAMATA, we're giving you assurance by the end of this year, that road will be good to go. And all of us will smile. So thank you very much.
Well, that's the much we can take from our studio audience on our question and answer segment. Over to you, Kate.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you for educating us today, but we are not going to leave here without your parting words.
I would like to use this opportunity to appeal to the communities, members of the communities along the corridor, the Mile 12 to Ikorodu Town, BRT proposed corridor that it's under construction, to continue to bear with us and cooperate with the contractors that we have on the road. Then appeal to the transport unions, especially the Danfo drivers, to ensure that they park appropriately where they're supposed to pick up their passengers. Then appreciate the efforts of the Lagos State MDAs like Fiscal Planning, Lands Bureau, and Surveyor General's Office, who had ensured that we deliver that corridor in good time and quality too. Thank you very much.
And thank you for being a part of the program.
It's my pleasure.
We'll be right back after the break. To find out more about us, you can use the details now appearing on your screen. We would love to hear from you. Every member of our studio audience will receive a loaded Lagos Connect card. Till next week, LAMATA.
Team Transport! Eko Akete, Lagos, my home. With LAMATA, Lagos is changing for the best. BRT lanes, modern rail lines, pedestrian bridges,